Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining today's episode of the Bookers Alliance podcast. Come on inside the house, bring yourself up a ringside seat, get your popcorn, your soda, your whiskey, or your Gatorade, or your water, or any your electrolytes.
It's electrolyte sponsor today.
We got to stay hydrated.
Oh, yeah. We got a medical emergency going on over here, but we're going to power through it and still record for you guys because it's a big week.
That's it. So, yeah, we got sponsors today. We got water. We got Gatorade. We got black cherry water.
We got to add some flavor.
Hey, what is this? Black cherry? This is black glacier cherry Gatorade.
There you go. See, it's a black cherry sponsor today. That's what you're talking. That's what I'm talking about.
We got all kinds of things going on. So thank you for joining today's episode. Coming back after Thanksgiving break. Did you eat enough turkey?
Oh, absolutely. So I had enough of everything. I had the turkey. We had the ham. Some people had stuffing. Others had dressing.
John Cena had some live.
Yeah. He definitely had some of that. He didn't have no Nikki, though.
No, he didn't have no Nikki.
Man.
We'll get into that, though.
That's one pretty woman right there. Let's just wander into that's one pretty attractive female.
We already started.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I have me some turkey, some dressing, all the trimmings and everything else, and then felt like crap afterwards and regretted all of it.
Well, you're going for a tune-up this week, so you'll be all right. They'll take care of it this week. They go in there and take it, flush out all the old, and let you start anew.
Let me start anew.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, that's why our sponsor this week is electrolytes and hydration. So,
it's tune-up week this week.
So we got to talk about, though, we got to get on the road here. We building to what is apparently coming up. Looks like a reset happened after this event.
Kind of, because I have no idea where anybody's going after War Games. Like, no good stories came out of it.
Is that what we're titling today's episode? War Games?
War Games. That's what Steven Regal told me it was called.
Did I mistype?
William Regal said it's War Games.
I think I mistyped. I think it's Snore Games.
Oh, God. That's just you're old now. You can't stay up late.
I can't stay up late. No, I've got some takes on what we observed. Not my favorite Survivor Series. Hell, not my favorite War Games at all.
Definitely not my favorite Survivor Series, because, I prefer the traditional 5-on-5 strive to survive. But we didn't get that, but we got War Games. We got something.
Yeah, we need to talk about some things that are happening, some booking decisions that are being made. And, Hunter, your boys over here got all kinds of ideas, and you just ain't listening.
It's because I'm a minority.
No,
you know how Triple H is with that. So
here we go.
Right, if you look at the writing team right now, it kind of looks like the presidential cabinet.
It does. None
of us over there. So they got no room for us over there. Right now.
This is true.
We're gonna try and break through down the road, maybe in 26, but until we break through, we gonna disparage this man on his choices.
So let's talk about how Snore Games kicked off. Let's talk about this with the women's War Games match. Would you call it hodgepodge?
Yeah, it was definitely okay. Who's not really doing anything right now?
Who's not doing anything, and who can we put together that don't hate each other?
Yeah, it was good. I feel like they went in the back, like they went in the locker room, and like they were like, "So we're having War Games. Do we have any volunteers?" I feel like it was like the first 10 hands that went up, and they're like, "Okay."
I ain't been in a cage match in a while.
They're like, "Let's start figuring this out here." Okay, we got 10. There's 10 names. Let's figure out how we're gonna get this done.
Yeah, so we had some unsuspecting faces in this match. Lash Legend, look, you coming up hot. I mean, coming up right into the War Games. Cool. That's respectable, and that's great. Poor girl.
She was there to take all the spits and the finishes, and
poor girl got no pop. She got no pop.
No, the crowd in San Diego. So San Diego, not a big wrestling town anyway, right? And then like when you're thinking of the mecca of wrestling, like where the hottest fans are gonna be. San Diego ain't the name that comes up into anybody's mind, but if you're going to do it, at least promote it well. Yeah, with Lash Legend, especially being last, like her coming out in the last position and got nothing. It was echoing.
So let's speak about that for a minute. You said coming out in the last position. There was no shark cages.
This is true. She had to come out from the back.
There was no cages to put your teams in, and which kind of started to make sense once Frankie pointed out something. You ain't getting Brock Lesnar in a cage.
There was no way. As soon as when it was said out loud, when you mentioned it, and then like not too long after that, the announcers mentioned it. That was the first thing I started thinking is because Brock's coming out last. Like there's no way he's gonna lead the thing. I'm like, wait, you think Brock Lesnar's gonna stand out there in a cage like a gorilla trapped in front of all those people in their view for like 30 minutes?
Well, picture this though. You would have had Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, and Drew McIntyre
stuffed in a
shark cage.
Right. Brock Lesnar don't want to be in a room with all those people for that long.
No,
he damn sure ain't
like
gonna be in a
that
small
much.
cage. Come on now.
So yeah, that was an absence of shark cages. So that means every entrant, as they made their way to the ring, came from the back with their entrance music and all of that. While it was a change up of pace, it was like the Rumble, kind of.
It did feel like the Rumble. You were just basically watching the clock counting down until a new entrant comes in, and it felt a lot like the Rumble.
Yeah. For the match itself, the
match beyond,
so trivial.
That's what it used to be. It used to be called the match beyond.
It was so trivial. Like there was nothing going to come out of this at all. Period.
No, I mean, so you would normally an event like Survivor Series War Games, it's one of two things, right? It's either a blow off of like some big blood feud that you've been having all year, like it has been prior with the Bloodline and the OGs and things like that. Or it's something to really kick off like new storylines. Let's break out a new story. Let's introduce a new idea here at War Games that we can carry on into the Rumble and possibly all the way to WrestleMania if it's good enough. We can get none of that because I don't know where any of this nonsense was meant to go.
And this is out of both War Games matches. There was nothing that came out of. Well, they tried to make something out of the men's, but we'll get to that at the end. But with the ladies, as soon as I saw Io Sky walk down with that damn trash can lid,
it's like, well, here we go.
Here we go. Third year in a row. Here we go. She's going to jump off the cage with the trash can. Like, come on, man. Like, there was so many wrestling tropes in this show.
Yeah.
It got on my nerves.
So there was definitely some of that. Now, again, I think we learned here in the conversation prior to recording that you really didn't love the pay-per-view.
I did not, no.
So I enjoyed it enough because it was wrestling. So I guess we're just going to have to agree to disagree throughout the show.
But
yes. Some of the stuff I do agree on, right? Like, again, there was no story. There was nothing that kept me enthralled in these characters, like where they go. I mean, in their Raw on Monday night, obviously they leaned it, and now all the women that wrestled in the cage are now fighting for the title or for the tag title.
For the tag belt.
Now we all care about the tag titles all of a sudden.
Apparently.
And Liv came out of nowhere. She's the only one that cares about the actual championship.
Yep.
That's what we're doing.
Yep.
So I don't agree with that. But back to the event.
So with all the ladies that eventually got into the ring, there were some spots that were okay. The trash can spot off of the ring there, or off the cage. First off, AJ trying to give her the trash can and had to get on Rhea's shoulders to get her the trash can.
So I thought it was a comedy spot, so I loved it. Loved it as a comedy spot. Loved it.
I hated it.
It was cute.
It took away. I hated it. And
you saw little AJ holding the thing, jumping to her fullest extent, trying to reach, and she couldn't reach.
Okay, fine.
Great comedy spot.
I'll give her that comedy spot. What else did she freaking do in the match?
She laid there a lot. I mean, I told you she practiced out of the CM Punk handbook of when you're first coming back and you ain't got your wind up, you find a way to lay there.
Oh my gosh. There was so much about this match though that just it got on my nerves. That got on my nerves. AJ not being involved got on my nerves. Also the trash
can. She got the win. What do you mean she wasn't involved? See, now we're going to disagree again. AJ got the win. The team wouldn't have won had it not been for AJ, and you say she wasn't involved. I can't get on board with that.
Okay, so I'm going to argue the point. Did she really get the win? Because Becky Lynch, I kind of side with her. I don't think she tapped.
You don't?
I don't think she tapped.
Her hand was flailing to it. I mean, she tapped her butt. She tapped her legs. She tapped every part of her body she could get to.
Go back and look at the video. She didn't tap a body part. Her arm was waving in the air. I think Jessica Carr double-crossed Becky Lynch again and gave the face team the win.
Now, see, you missed it. What happened? Remember the old school where you used to pick up the arm and drop 3 times? That's what happened. They picked up the arm and Becky's arm dropped 3 times. Yeah. She didn't hold it up and wave that one finger to tell you, you got to wave that one finger and say no.
There you go.
And then you hulk up and then you power up. She didn't do any of that. She let that arm fall 3 times. Once it falls 3 times, it's over.
Also, the whole heel team gaggling around waiting for Io to jump off the cage.
So I do hate that spot.
That was horrible.
The somersault was great.
The somersault was good.
Normally she just does the high cross body, but she actually did the somersault. That was great.
Io should have been awarded the win for her team.
No, because AJ Lee had to get the win.
After she somersaulted off top the cage, she laid her arm across Lash Legend with Lash's both shoulders on the mat. Io's shoulders were not on the mat. Her arm draped across Lash for like a 7 count.
Yeah, but
nobody counted.
Lash wasn't taking the pin, so that has nothing to do with anything we're talking about here, because Lash wasn't designed to take the pin. She had to take the mist in the face. Now, you don't take the mist and the pin. Now, you don't do both.
Well, that's true, I guess.
You got to build up the NXT talent. You don't come in there and take the mist and the pin. You got to take one or the other, not both.
It was an okay match. I mean, look, not knocking the wrestlers' effort at all. Would never do that.
You can never knock their effort.
It's the booking of the match and how it went, especially with Becky trying to be a chicken shit heel inside the cage. That also didn't pan out.
Yeah, I mean, when she tried to run, and I'm like, okay, that part, I can get into that. Of course you're supposed to run when you're scared, but when you run and you don't succeed, and now you're just running around the cage, I'm like, I don't know what Dusty would think about this.
Yeah. Dusty, I tell you what Dusty would have wanted.
What's that?
Dusty would have wanted AEW Blood and Guts.
Yeah, probably, but nobody else would have wanted it. The 7 fans that watched it were the only ones that wanted that.
All right, so let's move on to the next match that happened. We had John Cena.
Oh, yeah.
John Cena coming out defending the Intercontinental Championship against Dirty Dom.
Now, you better not say you hated it, because this was probably the least predictable match on the card. Nobody could have called what happened in this match. It was
the most predictable match on the card.
Nobody in their right mind could have called what happened.
I believe we did, sir. We called it.
I guessed, but I didn't anticipate the girls coming out for the.
I think we actually said he's coming down with some Judgment Day people. He came down eventually with the whole Judgment Day. Even the missing member came out.
Yeah, so prediction or not, that was the best part of the match.
That was the best part of the
match. Man, that was great.
So obviously John can work a match and can put anybody over in the match. Him and Dom had already squared up before, but them squaring up this time, it was a good story they were trying to tell. I loved the spot. And this is where I'm not going to be cynical and hate
Liv
it.
did the hug thing. Yeah, I love that spot.
I love that spot too. But I'm talking about the spot where Dom did the Hurricane Rana off the barricade like Penta, and laid there hurt like Penta. Yeah. That was a cool spot, because honestly, look, there's a lot of people that we've watched come across that TV screen that can't sell worth shit.
Yeah, unfortunately.
He sold his ass off. Made you really wonder, like, oh, shit, did he really do what Penta did?
They were smart to lean into it with, the officials were coming down and the trainers coming over. You were wondering, like, wait a minute. Is he fooling? Is he trying to Eddie Guerrero's? But then when they showed the replay a few times, and you saw how he came on his neck, you're like, wait a minute, he's hurt. That didn't tickle.
That wouldn't be the only close call that happened.
Definitely not. Yeah, that wasn't the only neck injury of the night.
We'll get to that later. But him laying on the floor with the injury there gave Roxanne and Raquel the opportunity to get in and kind of get their spots in. And John, kudos to John for putting them over like that.
I mean, mean, let's talk about Raquel there. I mean, hell,
She got him up for the Tahana bomb.
absolutely. I mean,
crazy.
she picked that 240 some pound man up on her shoulders with no hesitation and slammed him down. I mean, she didn't need help. She didn't need assistance. She just muscled that man up there. And I said, well, damn.
Little old Roxanne getting a pop rocks.
Yeah, I mean, so, right. We put the work in. We gave everybody, he put some shine on everybody.
Yep. And then, you got JD and Finn come out there to try their spots, try their hand to kind of help Dom win. It wasn't any of them that helped him. The only one that helped him was Liv, and that was questionable at the beginning. That was questionable because she came out and slapped the crap out of him.
Where's she go? Well, so again, replays. When you show the replay, she swung high. Yeah, it did make it convincing. But again, like you said about the selling, right? Dom can sell. He knows how to work because, I mean, it looked like she knocked his block off. You're like, man, she knocked his crown off his head there. And then you think about it like, wait a minute, he sold that too. He played us again.
Yep. So she goes in. She looks at John. Instantly runs in for the hug, jumps, wraps her legs around. Wait a minute, what are we talking about again? Is it still a wrestling match?
In clips, did you see what? So John tried to catch her.
John tried to catch her,
then
but
he realized,
oh, I'm
John
married.
was like, wait a minute,
I'm
my
a married
wife's
man
in the crowd right now.
She's not going to be as cool as Dom's wife.
No, So he moved them hands real quick, and then he even pointed one to show. He's like,
I didn't
almost.
do it. I resisted temptation.
Right, he's like, no divorce papers yet. Hold on.
Then Liv got that John Cena look on her face when John turned heel. Liv got that serious look, got that she witch look, and all of a sudden just low blowed him.
Yes.
Gave him the John Cena special.
You say low blow. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Gave him the John Cena special.
Kicked him in the junk.
Kicked him in the junk.
I was going to say, 'cause when I think of Liv and low blow, a whole different conversation comes up, and that's on After Dark.
So we got Dominic Mysterio getting the pin on John Cena, becoming the new Intercontinental Champ, two-time Intercontinental Champ.
In his hometown.
In his hometown.
And he got his baby back.
Yep.
As Booker would say, he got his baby back. That's
so the world is all right and 2 thumbs up now for Dominic Mysterio. Where do you see Dom going from here?
So again, nobody had any story coming out of the pay-per-view. While I enjoyed the match. Obviously, I enjoyed all the antics. I enjoyed watching John get to do one more, feat of strength and, with the double AA on Finn and Jade. All was great, but the one downside I do have is where do we go from here, right?
Yeah.
So
this was fan service for John. That's what this was.
Exactly.
It was his last PLE.
I guess we could say that it blew off that storyline because they had a month-long story. So maybe we could go into it was a blow-off instead of just a hodgepodge because there was a little bit of story built into it. But like, where do we go from here? There's nothing out there for him.
And that's kind of weird. I mean, leaving Dominic Mysterio in a place right now and kind of moving on to Monday Night Raw. We'll come back to the rest of Snore Games here. But moving on to Monday Night Raw, him coming out rejoined with Liv and the rest of the Judgment Day there, the crowd kind of had mixed signals when it came to Dom. I mean, the crowd was cheering Dom for a while. And now you got a mixture of boos and cheers. And he even told the crowd, hey, we're not doing that again.
Well, it may be a point now where Dom and Liv can go off on their own away from Judgment Day. At this stage, they may have outgrown Judgment.
They need to.
Because, I mean, that's what happened. That's the idea of a faction, right? The idea of a faction is to find that breakaway star that's just the guy that can, ascend beyond where the group got him to. And I think Dom and Liv both are there. I do think they need to stay together, but I think at this point now they have probably outgrown Judgment Day. So, but you're going to get those cross reactions that way because they're like, oh, Liv's hot. We cheer for her. Dom's dirty. He's okay, but what about the rest of these guys? We're not going to cheer them too. So, and maybe that's the point. Maybe we're slow cooking to WrestleMania where you have a Judgment Day breakup, but at least plant some seeds, right? Like, put something in the wood. Don't just come out here and have a love fest and then we wander off into whatever, Then
there was also some things going on with Ray too, kind of throughout, especially on Raw. He had this interaction with Logan Paul. They talking about deadbeat dad and all that. They're still carrying that character arc.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what that is actually going to mean for Dom going forward. Is he ever going to drop the Mysterio name? Is he just going to be Dirty Dom or just Dominic?
I don't see him dropping the Mysterio name just for I mean, the respect level that it gives, but he doesn't need it. And we talked about this a couple episodes ago. You know, Dom doesn't need Ray anymore. Of course, the very next night they paired him and Ray up again. And I'm like, what are we doing here? You know, like, yeah, we gave y'all a whole episode, told y'all what direction to go. Y'all just crapped on it. And now those ratings are bad.
They're like, we'll show them.
Exactly. And that's what happens. People stop watching when you show us. So
that's
good
right.
job, guys.
Good job. But yeah, so that let's kind of leave that one there. It's kind of an unknowing future for Dom. John, we know where John's going. John's December 13th, last match, riding off into the sunset. The only thing we don't know.
One more time.
One more time.
We're not getting any more appearances. We're not getting any more.
It's funny. We're talking about only seeing the man one more time that you can't see.
Yeah. Well, it'll be the last time you can see him. So I'm still interested if he's going to leave his jorts in the ring afterwards. You know, I like when you leave your boots in. He should wear some tights.
Well, John can't leave boots in the ring. He'll wear them. He wears sneakers.
He wears whatever shoes he's got at the time.
He wears sneakers, so.
Yeah, he got to retire the jorts. I mean, at this point, he needs to wear his regular wrestling tights, like his old school John Cena multicolored tights. He needs to wear them under, and at the end of the match, he needs to drop the jorts right in the middle of the ring.
Now, if he had to leave a shirt for every color he's worn, he'd have like 18,000 shirts in there.
Oh, that would be the spectrum there. So at that point, we can't do that. But yeah, you got to leave the jorts. I mean, and, you know, when you retire, bring a towel out there or something for him, whatever y'all want to do. But he needs to leave the jorts in the ring for the last time. That would be great.
I think he leaves the towel in the ring. That's his call sign.
Maybe I could see it, but it should be the jorts.
Yeah. All right.
Again, because them jorts are at least 10 years old. So
let's move on
to got to go. So yeah.
Let's move on to something else he left in the ring. Let's talk about Stephanie Vaquera versus Nikki Bella.
Yep. Left it in the ring, left it wherever he could. He's like, get me out of Dodge in this.
So you had Stephanie Vaquera versus Nikki Bella for the WWE Women's Championship. Or actually the World Women's Championship, whatever you want to call it. But this match was just eh.
So it was a Nikki Bella match, right? Like unfortunately, this was predictable because we went into it saying, you know, Nikki's not about to put on a catch as catch can. You know, she's not going to it's not going to be Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, right? She's not going to outwork nobody. They're not going to steal the show. None of these things are going to be the phrase that comes out of this match. But damn, she looked good when they did the entrance, you know, and they do the thing where they stand side by side on there. I'm like, shit, she's 42. Oh, God, Stephanie Vaquera should be like, I hope to be in this shape when I'm 42 years old, because man,
so
that girl's a looker. She ain't a wrestler, but she's a looker.
No story arc in this other than the fact that Nikki turned heel to double cross.
Well, now again, I got it. They were best friends. I mean, they literally said we're best friends, and then they broke up on TV. They were best friends.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the story arc.
Sure.
Now, keeping in mind they were best friends now. 2 months before that, she didn't even know her last name.
No, it was Vaquet.
She was Stephanie Vaquet. But in 2 months, they formed such a special bond, and they were such tight friends.
They bonded over the mispronunciation of her last name.
That's what it was. And they're both names. They're both Stephanies.
That's right.
So, I mean, their real first names are both Stephanie. So we went with that. They were best friends. They were next to each other on the roster because, you know, the same thing.
I will say, whatever opponent that they give Stephanie next,
Stephanie Bella?
No, they need to give her a match where she can show her skills, definitely. And I think her next opponent is Liv.
Well, so that was the one thing they did actually give us coming out of Raw. They gave us nothing coming out of Survivor. But coming out of Raw, they did actually have those two interact.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's the direction that they're going. And I'm actually okay with that because
I'm okay with that.
Liv, before she got injured, she was really, really improved. I mean, she was probably the most improved wrestler of 2024 by no means. And, you know, it carried over into 25. So I think they could actually have good matches. And what I didn't notice until yesterday when they actually faced up with each other, they're actually around the same size.
Yeah, they're
they could actually have a really good looking match too. So I think, you know, if she's completely recovered, if she's back to 100%, I think they could actually have a pretty great storyline.
Yep. Of course, everybody's got to talk about the Devil's Kiss on the announce table. That happened.
It happened on the announce table. It happened in the ring. Yeah. I mean, we got some kissing going on.
Wade Barrett about lost his mind.
Yeah, great. I mean, great angle though. If you got to be in the arena, that's the place to be.
The only thing I hated off of that is the fact that Booker T wasn't out there.
So Booker couldn't have stayed out there. So first of all, the first thing I said when it started happening is, why did they clear away from the table? I'd have sat right there in my seat. I wouldn't have moved a muscle. Been like, you go ahead, carry on. But see, Booker would have done the same thing. The problem is Booker had to go home to the Queen.
Yep.
And he would have found himself in a hell of a problem. So, yeah, they need to keep Booker away from situations like that.
So, Stephanie Vaquer comes out retaining the championship. Where she goes from here, maybe Liv, we'll see. Nikki Bella, is that the last PLE for Nikki?
No. So, I feel like there's no way she came back without some kind of direction towards the tag titles with Brie. I feel like if they never pay that off, then it was a waste to even bring her back.
Okay. All right, so now let's get to the biggest, the meanest, the bloodiest Snore Games that happened Saturday night,
and which is how it should be. We don't need everybody covered in blood.
So you had CM Punk entering the cage first in the Dusty Rhodes spot.
Yeah, that was a shock.
Yeah,
like, wow, CM Punk's going all night. Hell, this is new.
Then you had Braun Breaker.
Yeah, so. Which is interesting that those two started with how it ended, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
So you definitely had a cool mix of young and old in there for the first kind of little bit. The match itself, as far as the intensity, you had a lot of people throwing each other into the cage. You had the weapons being brought in.
Braun Breaker breaking his neck. Breaker neck.
So you had, was it Drew McIntyre came in next, right? After because the heels had the advantage,
had
right?
The advantage in the last match.
And then you had Cody coming in second. So
which was surprised. We had the two world champs being the first two to defend their team, which I get it, it's good, but didn't expect that either.
Didn't expect it, but also didn't expect Braun Breaker to about lose his neck.
Yeah, that was. So I'll be honest. When they went up for the Doomsday Device, I kind of did expect it. I was like, "There's nothing good's coming out of this." I was like, "Yeah, this ain't gonna be as great as we think." But I didn't think it was gonna end the way it did because I thought he was dead.
All right, let's get real for a minute. Let's talk about something for real for a minute, okay?
Okay.
In the mechanics of that move, how you're supposed to give that move and how you're supposed to take that move.
Yeah.
Where did it go wrong?
So all of the above, right? The only person that didn't do something wrong, and that was Cody, because he did the clothesline, right? Or am I mixing up? Did Punk do the clothesline, or did Cody do the clothesline?
No, Punk had him on his shoulders.
Okay, that's what I thought. So the first misstep was Punk. What he's supposed to do with Braun Breaker is he's supposed to hold his feet, and when Braun gets the clothesline, he's supposed to push. So Braun Breaker's feet, he's supposed to push Braun's backwards so Braun can get the trajectory to do a full backflip. And then Braun is supposed to backflip onto his belly. Anything other than that, you're fucking up. You run the risk of not getting enough rotation. Now, Cody had some to do it, with the clothesline, but the problem with that is if you actually clothesline him, like if you hit him like Hawk used to hit him, you could over-rotate, and that's how you really get into injury. But they under-rotated because I don't think Punk really gave him the push from his legs. And then, you can only ask Braun to do so much sitting on a guy's shoulders.
Right.
You ain't doing a backflip from a sitting position without some push. So CM Punk should have been pushing from the legs, and Cody should have got just enough of the clothesline to get him started with the rotation. Punk give him the push. He should have been able to belly flop right onto the mat safe. When you miss a little bit of that and under rotate, you're landing wherever you land.
So if that spot winds up into the next season of WWE Unreal, you're definitely going to hear Triple H on the mic going, "Is he okay?" Because you could tell, he wasn't selling that.
No.
He was hurt.
I mean, and that wasn't a Dom Mysterio moment there because the camera never went over to that direction. I mean, they found a way to angle that out because what I think happened, I think they had to open the door.
Yeah.
And which, you can't open the door, but I think they had to open the door and get some trainers at least up to the mat to go over there and talk to him and say, "Hey, what's going on?" Because, you're talking neck injury, you're talking concussion, you're talking your body and spine contorting in a way it ain't built to fold. There's a lot that could have happened in that could have been bad.
Yeah.
And at that point, the match got to go on. Great. It goes on in another ring. If they had to take it all the way to the other ring, I think they would have. They would have communicated to him like, hey, get them all in the other ring because we need to get in here and look at it. But I think when they got over there and had the conversation with him, I think he was able to give them enough that they were comfortable to say, okay, you're good.
So let's step into gorilla position for a minute. Let's say that the Booker's Alliance is in gorilla position and Braun Breaker would had needed to be stretchered out of that match. What do you do as a producer? What do you do at that point?
I'll give you a quick fix for what I would have done, just off the top of there, because we didn't discuss this beforehand. They ended the match with the secret man coming in through the cage and all that. I would have just sent the secret man out there as the replacement. Just tell him, hey, take all that crap off, go in your wrestling, get in your wrestling gear, run out there, and hey, you're filling in for this guy, and it's going to be a surprise. People will be shocked. Word is that it was Austin Theory. Okay, if that's the case, then so be it. I think it was Seth Rollins because I don't think the WWE would try and fool us like that. I think they would live into the character and have it be Seth. But if Seth was healthy enough and he ran out there and took Braun's place, I feel like that would have drew up a storyline between him and Braun they could have got to later. So I would have, he would have just said, hey, Braun thought he was taking my place in the Vision. Well, no, I just showed him he's still a kid and I'm the man, so I took his place in War Games because they won anyway. So
I would have done different. Maybe I would have pivoted a little different. I would have used maybe a ref, somewhere around the ring to kind of radio in and say, hey, ref, we're going to take out this guy on the other team. We need them to fake a spot, something go down, and we need to take this person out too, to even the sides back up.
So who's the guy though? I mean, because if Braun Breaker gets injured legit, and then let's say Jimmy Uso fakes an injury and does the same thing, would that be a little too obvious? Where you're like, wait a minute.
No, maybe not too obvious. I mean, the only person that you could have probably done it on the face side with, you could have probably done it with Punk, because I mean, Monday night the story was he wasn't medically cleared to be there anyway.
Well, true, but Punk had to take the pin. Otherwise, Braun Breaker had nowhere to go.
Yeah, but if Braun's not there to give the pin,
right, then the whole thing
didn't matter. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of interesting our thoughts on that. It's kind of cool.
If they do it in Unreal, if they do it in Unrealness later, maybe we should revisit that and do a more in depth. Like, hey, here's what they actually did. Here's what we could have done. We might revisit that down the road.
All right, but we continued the match. You had the Usos came out. You had Logan Paul come out. You've got Bronson Reed in the ring. You got all things happening. We even had a yeet session.
Yeah, we did.
In the middle of the match.
Favorite part of the match.
Loved it. This was the part of the match where everything inside of me just wanted to go find the toilet, hug it, and puke my guts out.
Loved it. You'll do that later today. But no, I loved it. So you go back and watch that part of the match about 7:00 tonight. That might give you motivation.
That'll give you motivation.
No. So again, you got you got kids in the crowd. You got Jey Uso fans in the crowd that didn't get to see the entrance that they paid a shit ton of money for, right? People love that stuff. We actually thought Jey was going to open the event just to get the entrance in, but you can't. That messes up the whole trajectory of the match. But you find a way to get it in. I mean, there's so many dead spots where somebody's laying around and jobbing and selling it. Find a way to do it, get it in there and let the kids enjoy themselves. You saw the fans. The fans didn't hate it.
Agreed. So, the fans didn't hate it. At the end of the day,
that's your audience. You can't worry about the two old crotchety guys, get off your lawn guys doing a podcast at home. You got to worry about the people that paid $1,000 for a ticket for the nosebleeds. You got to service them something.
So here's where you had me as a Jey Uso fan, okay?
Okay.
You had me as a Jey Uso fan when he was going up against his cousin who was basically a mob boss.
Okay.
You had me as a Jey Uso fan when you gave him a story that he had an opponent that he could not beat.
Okay.
You had me as a Jey Uso fan when he won the title, lost it, and had a redemption arc to get it back.
Okay.
You lost me as a Jey Uso fan when you took all of that away and just gave him his entrance, and that's it.
Okay. And I concur. I'm with you on that. But again, you got to remember, we're 50. If you were 7,
I got you.
Which part of Jey Uso's character
you gotta have John Cena out there somewhere, and if he's retiring, you gotta have a Cena somewhere.
Right, there's got to be somebody to cater to the kids. Otherwise, the kids ain't interested. And that's the part I'm hanging my hat on.
I get it, but I think
all them 7-year-olds that made the parents that couldn't care less about wrestling come to that event. they wanted to yeet. So all them 7 to 12-year-olds that yeeted, they enjoyed the hell out of it. The rest of us were like, wait, this is dumb.
The yeet session in the middle of a War Games match is probably the stupidest thing I have ever seen in the middle of any match.
No. So I saw a lot of WCW, NWA War Games. They've done way
that's
worse.
true. The Triple Cage of Doom or whatever that was.
Way worse. So yeah, believe you me, that ain't up there. That's low hanging fruit as far as the world of messed up dumb things we've done in a cage.
The only good part about the yeet session is what happened to end the yeet session when Brock Lesnar's music hits.
Yeah.
And the whole crowd just went, oh, shit.
And that's what I said in the moment when it happened. I'm like, that's the effect that they were looking for. Because when Brock's music hit, even the little kids immediately stopped eating and sat down. They felt like they were in trouble. They're like, oh, God, he's going to come up here and get us if he sees us doing it. So they sat down and got real quiet.
Even Jay on top of the cage spun around and went, huh?
Yeah, because he knew first thing he'd better do is get his ass off the top of that cage. Because Brock could come up there and throw you off of that with no remorse.
So Brock came in there and just went to town like a gunslinger, just laying people left and right with F5s and suplexes.
Brock was nice enough to break the table long before we got to the table spot. He had no remorse for where he was throwing you. He was just going to throw you.
The slum people, ragdoll people.
Yeah, right. And if you're Drew and Braun Breaker, stay away because he might accidentally throw y'all too. So they knew just to lay out and let it happen.
Yeah,
but all the faces found their way into getting thrown somewhere.
So you had all of that transpiring, and then there was only one man left to come out for the Snore Games. The man, apparently. Here comes Roman, and Brock leaves the cage to go meet Roman.
Which in the moment now we got to talk. In the moment had you flipping out because you're like, wait, the match is over because he left, and I'm like, wait, it didn't start until all entrants are in the ring.
Been in the ring, so you're right.
That was a funny spot though because you were like, no, wait, this is
he can't leave the ring.
You were like, it said explicitly on the rules that if a participant leaves the cage, it's over.
And which we knew that rule being new would come into place. Yeah,
you knew it had to be. You knew there was no reason they just wandered haphazardly put that in there. You knew it was something, but you were trying to call that spot there. Now you're like, there's where it is. They just lost. And I'm like, Roman hadn't even got in yet. The match don't start until everyone's in. Then we could settle back down and get ready to go after we did some table spots and
they had the
spots and everything else.
Yep. So they had the showdown at the OK Corral spot in the middle aisle. Then they went around the ring with Superman punches. And then the next thing you know, Roman gets F5'd out of
straight through a table.
They finally get everybody in the ring. Everybody's going to town. You're trying to figure out which way this thing's going to end. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, nope, that's the wrong line. You can't use it.
Yeah,
use that. Can't use out of nowhere. It wasn't out of nowhere.
I was out of the stands.
Out of the first row was
out of the stands.
Was a hooded figure coming into climbing a ring, climbing the cage like only Chris Jericho could climb the cage.
Absolutely. I wanted to just hear break the walls down when it happened because I'm like, you know who that is.
Look, all right. So everybody who watched Snore Games, everybody who's seen this, look, y'all, come on, side with Marky Mark here. Ain't no way in hell, as Vince would say, no chance in hell that Chris Jericho climbed that cage that fast.
Chris Jericho, he's from Canada. All they do is climb cages over there. They know how to climb the cage.
Not at that
They
age.
invented the
Not
cage
at that
over
age.
there.
Have you seen any example of Chris Jericho in the past 10 years?
Have you seen Chris Jericho lately? Chris Jericho has slimmed down. He's in fighting shape now.
I don't
Chris,
care.
Chris is as slim as the day is long.
I don't care. Ain't no 50-year-old man gonna climb a cage that fast.
Chris Jericho can do it.
Nah, he don't even have
Nobody
the dexterity.
reinvents themselves.
He don't have
better
the
than
dexterity
Chris
left in
Jericho.
his fingers to climb the cage.
Nobody reinvents themselves better than Chris Jericho.
That's just true.
So
this
now when he
true.
comes back, his moniker's going to be clear.
So which version of Chris Jericho would that have been? Le Champion?
Yeah, no.
The Ocho?
None of the AEW.
That had to have been the Lionheart, right?
Yeah, that was Lionheart.
Yeah,
but
no, that Lionheart's all gone.
We're not calling him Lionheart Chris Jericho. We're going to call him Cage Climbing Chris Jericho when he comes back. That's going to be his new moniker.
So he gets in the cage.
Well, someone gets in.
Someone gets in the cage, throws a kick, looks at Punk, gives one of the coolest curb stomps that I've ever seen a hooded figure give.
Yeah.
And everybody instantly went, that's Seth Rollins.
Yeah, it had to be Seth.
Seth Rollins. No, I don't think
Definitely not Seth.
It's not
Rollins.
Seth. It's not Seth Rollins.
Was it
and
Dean
definitely
Ambrose,
ain't Chris
though?
Jericho.
Was
either.
it Dean Ambrose though? I mean,
If it would have been Dean Ambrose, it might actually be cooler than who it really was.
Yeah, no, it definitely would have been. Could you imagine if it turned out to be Dean? So first of all, like TK could just close up shop if Dean go. I mean, if he loses Moxley, he might as well just close the doors at that point, because now you're C League. You're not even B League no more. But who do we actually think it is? Who's the guy that we have
when you look at the build, when you looked at everything else, first thing first, he very, very flexible, very, very fast. So
Nikki Bella.
Yeah. So instantly, you have to go to a build of somebody like Carmelo or somebody like that.
Build.
No.
I do love
No,
her.
it wasn't Nikki. No, it wasn't Nikki. Nikki's way smaller.
Yeah.
But even you could see the definition in the back and everything else. Look, everybody that is theorizing that it is Austin Theory, I think everybody's right.
I mean, so all signs point to it. And there were rumors even before Seth got injured that Austin Theory was going to come in and join up. So it's not too far out of the realm of possibility anyway. Plus, we haven't seen him in a year and a half. I mean, God, he's been gone for a long time. So his partner's already moved on. He's fully enthralled with the New Day now. So, I mean, there's nothing else for him. Why not put him back, in a main event spot? Why not get something out of him beating John Cena a few years ago at WrestleMania and actually doing something with his character?
So if it is Austin Theory and Paul Heyman does know about it, the vision will now expand to the Bronze, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory, which if you want to live up to the vision and kind of what it's supposed to be, the future, okay, I can still buy Austin Theory being a part of this group.
I can see it because he was part of Vince's vision.
He was.
But apparently TKO doesn't want to do anything, doesn't want nothing to do with Vince's visions anymore. So who knows?
It was interesting, the Masked Man, and then Monday night, quickly transitioning before we run out of time here. Monday night, Hooded Man, nowhere to be found.
No, they made a slight inference of, maybe we know who he is, maybe we don't. Was it him? Was it not?
Lots of conversation happening around that. I think I guess they're going to do a anniversary special of the first Raw on Netflix. Looks like January, the first Monday night in January.
Do we get The Rock?
No, we're not getting The Rock.
So The Rock's just done now.
He's done. Yeah, okay. He's done. So you're going to get, not only are you getting a World Heavyweight Championship fight between CM Punk and Braun Breaker.
Are we? Because Punk's medically not clear.
I think that's where you're going to get the reveal of the hooded guy.
There you go. He finally comes back and makes his presence known.
Yep. And if Punk drops that belt to Braun Breaker, even though I like the belt on Punk, and even though Punk just recently won the belt, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at it.
I would be shocked. I would be stunned.
I would be stunned.
That would be something unexpected, right? Yeah. I feel like at this point now the vision is, without Seth, they're just, kind of fodder against CM Punk's title reign to give it validity. But if he drops the belt to Braun Breaker, I mean, what an amazing move that would be.
Picture this though. If it is Braun Breaker to get the belt off of Punk, your WrestleMania match, Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker.
Well, that means that it ain't happening, because I did not see that being the WrestleMania main event this year. I feel like that spot somewhere or another is earmarked for Roman Reigns, but we shall see. We've got 6 months to get there, so we got a long road to travel. All
right, everybody, that was our review of Snore Games or War Games, whichever one it was for you. Reach out on our social media platforms. Let us know what you liked, didn't like about Snore Games or War Games, or hell, even this podcast. Let us know. Give us some feedback. But as we always say, just because you give us feedback, don't mean you're right.
Got that right. Doesn't mean we're going to take it either. We might just make fun of you for it. So we encourage it. Give us more to laugh at.
And with that, everybody, thank you for listening to today's episode, and we bid you adieu.
Peace.
Today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also, connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X.